All right, and good morning and welcome from a very warm Toronto, Canada. It is officially the first day of summer, full day of summer, so I'm not complaining. And welcome back to the Coaching Business Builder day three of our 5-day challenge. Today's topic is all about building your toolkit. We are at our special 8 a.m. call time, and I'm looking forward to getting this out to you. So with that, call today, building your coaching toolkit, and I want to take you through a couple of things. So first of all, reminder, today is the last day to join summer camp at the early bird rate. If you're still interested in learning more about the summer camp that's going to run July through August, take a look at the QR code on the right-hand side of the screen. Scan that. That's going to take you to information on our upcoming summer camp, which will run July 7th through August 15th. And if you still aren't on the list for Coaching Business Builder 5-Day Challenge, scan the QR code on the left. That's going to take you to our sign-up list for this process. So we're the middle of the program. We spent time on day one really looking very high level at building out your vision. Yesterday, we talked about building your skills and building your mindset. And so today, it's really building your toolkit. And I want to get you thinking about what's going to move your business forward this quarter. Again, part of the whole CBB or Coaching Business Builder mindset is daily steps plus consistent action equals momentum. So whether you're watching this recording or whether you're here live, really it's all about getting you activated to think about what are those micro steps that are going to move you towards the goals and the visions you set on day one. I'd love for you right now to really think about where you are now and where you want to be, and think about what are those steps that are going to help you move from A to B. My guess is there are some tension spots that are going to help you with the consistent action of taking that daily action. So let's look at 4 different tools. Today, I'm just going to cover 4 different tools. I'm going to invite you to follow along. If you have a copy of Coaching Business Builder, pick it up. I really want people to be using it. This is one of the reasons why we're doing the Coaching Business Builder Challenge, because I hear from a lot of people, I bought the book, I love the book, but they're not using it. And so really this whole challenge is more of an introduction to you to the book to get you using it. So I want to get you thinking, first of all, in terms of, and there we go, Ivana's got her copy. Awesome. Crack it open, Ivana. I want you to be thinking about, what is it that's going to move the needle? And I should say before we get into this, I did have an email from someone this morning in Australia who had just gone to Amazon and was like, man, the delivery of the book is going to be so expensive. So if you don't have a copy of the book yet, head on over to our Potentials Realized store. You'll find that at potentialsrealized.com. Just scroll down the list, you'll see the store, and under digital downloads, you'll actually find a PDF copy of Coaching Business Builder. So I want to say that as one more logistics piece, because you don't just have to go to Amazon. In fact, when the pandemic started in March of 2020, we weren't able to mail out books anymore. So actually, we digitized Plan, Do, Track, which is for remote and virtual professionals, and Coaching Business Builder. And you can find copies of either one of those over at the Potentials Realized store. All right, so with that, let's dive into 4 of these tools. And I'm starting with section 1. As you flip into section 1, and I should just actually I'll get Ivana to grab her book. My book is over on my desk. It's towards the end of section 1, almost the last page of section 1. And it's really the Coaching Business Builder business development cycle. So I want to take you through this. I don't talk a lot about this, but I'm going to be I'm thinking of redesigning this graphic at some point, because I think this is really at the heart of how we move forward. So we want to start where we started this week with creating and refining our vision. And as we do that, we get really clear on, what's showing up. And as I asked you a few minutes ago, where are you now and where do you want to go? What is that piece that's going to help you move into it? So Ivana's let us know it's page 29 of the Coaching Business Builder. Flip forward, you'll see this graphic. But I'd like you to follow along and maybe take some notes as we're going, because business development is this one step a day process. For years, I said, you know, what would it be like to really get that 1 degree movement forward towards your goals? And if you did that, what would happen on a 30-day basis, right? Like 1% a day, 30 days a month, we're going to move the needle like 30% in some of these big rocks. So where's your vision? And as you think about your vision, let's prepare. Part of this week, in fact, is about preparation. It's about tilling the soil. I know that many of you, like me, you know, it's easy to get really distracted with the things that are important in our business. And that's why building that time, for me, the time is usually early morning. That is my time to be moving important projects forward, because it's very easy for weeks to go by, months to go by, and even sometimes entire years to go by when you realize, I've got to get this done. I really would like to get it done. So for you, with your vision, zoom in to one of those key elements that maybe you are feeling very passionate about. And that is, first of all, create, refine a vision, and then get prepared. Think about what is going to help you prepare for this journey. Part of the preparation is, of course, is an action plan. And that's why we have the 1-page plan here in the book, right? If you flip towards the back, you're going to see your 1-page plan. What is the 1-page plan that will move you from A to B? If you have not yet taken time to really identify the top 3 to 5 goals, either this month, this quarter, or this year, that are going to make that vision a reality, do it now. Right? Like literally, if you're watching a recording, stop and pause it and think, ask yourself, what are the top 3 to 5 things I need to do in order to move from where I am to what my vision is? Businesses don't just materialize, sadly, and I think that's part of the fallacy of, you know, a lot of internet businesses. It's like, go to 0 to 100,000, 6 figures, like that. Well, we've got to put some movement behind it. So in creating an action plan, one of the things that's going to show up is, you know, what's going to help you and what's going to get in the way. If you look at the 1-page plan, you're going to see sections there to describe those 3 to 5 goals. You're going to see what are the descriptions, who and what do you need, as well as what's going to help and hinder. And a big part of this is seeking out support. And that's where our programming, Coaching Business Growth Lab, as well as the summer camp come in. If you haven't yet worked with a business coach, think about it. It's really going to help you reduce the cycle of mistakes. It's going to help you pause a little bit more so you can be more, tight and refined on what's important. And it'll also help you get grounded. I'm going to share a quick story because last night was my night to have my monthly coaching call with my coach. I work with an amazing coach. His name's Ed. He's like a decade older than me. He's out of Australia. And so Ed was saying, you know, Jen, like, what are you really focusing on? Because I always have all these projects on the go. And so many of you know, one of the things that I've been wanting to really move the needle on this year, but has been pushed and pushed and pushed back really for the last year, has been around coaching supervision. So one of the reasons why today's call and the remainder of this week's calls will be early is because stars finally aligned. And for the next 3 days, I'll be going into more training around coaching supervision. And that's going to allow me by the end of this week, finally, by the end of this week, after a year and a half of trying to really move the needle on this, I'll be able to offer coaching supervision to coaches starting next week. So this is like, seek out support. You really want to have people who are there to say, yeah, help you think through, is this the best decision? Is this the right decision? What do I need? And that's going to allow you to take ongoing steps, whether the ongoing steps show up and are clearly laid out, or sometimes there is this disconnect. There may be weeks, months, even a year that goes by between when you start a process and actually are able to wrap up a process. And as we go, we want to make sure that we're testing, retesting, and learning, or we're iterating, right? We're really looking at what is working and what is not. Part of the beauty of doing a 5-day challenge, I think, is that it always gives me an opportunity to sort of take the pulse, see what people are enjoying, see what people have questions around. And I would say it's been instrumental in the last couple of years in us really refining many of our programs. So if you joined me in 2020 in the Standout Virtually series, that gave birth to a couple of new offerings. It, first of all, really accelerated some of our supports in the business development area. We had the business incubator, which may come back later this fall or winter programming. And we also built out a lot of what you see now in Reconnecting Workspaces. So with that, think about what you could be doing to getting out, doing the work, testing, retesting, learning, and then learning, changing or iterating and acting. And so it's an ongoing cycle. When we're in it, it may not seem clear, but it will move you towards those goals as long as we're really spending time to focus on the goals. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Maybe just share in chat, what is the one thing you like about this 1% or 1 step a day model? Because literally it could be as simple as taking action every 15 minutes. And one of the things we talk about at the Coaching Biz Growth Lab is the importance of those 15 minutes a day. So I know Marty's been with us the first couple of days. She usually doesn't get up this time early in the day, but as she was sharing yesterday, very much, she's seeing her momentum getting going. And that's after numerous weeks and months of having the vision, breaking it down into these action steps and taking that consistent action. So that's tool number 1. Tool number 2, you'll also find in section 1, page 23. And this, of course, is the Iceberg Model. So if you've heard me speak about team coaching, you've heard me talk a little bit about how I've used this with teams. It really did evolve out of my work with teams, where I would often be asked by a team to come in and help them figure out what was going on. Now, like most teams, they were running fast. They didn't have much budget. So they didn't have money to even do an assessment on what was really at root cause. So after we moved through elements like the 6 factors of high performing teams, I then asked the team to identify where they were getting their results. So I'm going to invite you this morning to think about where you're getting your results in business right now. And ultimately, business results typically come from behaviors. But as we think about our behaviors, are we aware of what's happening below the waterline? So with the waterline, and this whole exercise could take a few minutes, it could actually take a longer time, and it really gets us thinking about these elements that we typically coach around: mindsets, habits, perspectives, assumptions, beliefs, and values. And as we look at these 5 areas, 6 areas, each one of these has an amazing coaching doorway in. In fact, yesterday we touched on mindsets as part of the challenge. A little bit earlier this week, we were talking about habits and the importance of developing those habits. If you were joining us in the last couple of months at the 18th anniversary celebrations, if you go back and listen to the call on team coaching, Kathy Vaughn, our team lead, was talking about the importance of ritual in teams. And one way that ritual shows up are in these regular habits. So for yourself, as a business owner, as a business leader, what are the habits you've cultivated to move the needle forward in your work every day? And I'd like to invite you right now to just jot down 2 or 3 habits that you have cultivated. Yesterday in our call, I was sharing, one of my habits is trying to get out during the workday to the pool. And if I can't get out to the pool, I at least get out for a quick walk. That gives me the opportunity to sort of like let things in my brain sift, because over the course of the day, moving from project to project to project, there's a lot of different elements. And I find if I don't get to the pool, I don't have that time for integrating, for bridging projects, for really sifting through what might seem to be urgent priorities, but in the grand scheme of things, might not be. So think about your habits. Take 20 seconds right now. I'll set my timer and we'll give it a little bit more. We'll do 45 seconds. And I'd like you to think about, what are the habits that are supporting you in your business right now? Habits, of course, being something that you're doing on a consistent basis. All right, that is the first question. Next, we're going to move to perspectives. So I want you to, for this one, to actually think about one of your major goals for this upcoming quarter. So we're now in Q3. What's one of your goals that you really want to blow out the water? Maybe it's designing a new program. Maybe it's a specific sales goal. What are a couple of the perspectives that you can stand in as you approach those goals? So I don't want you to just think about the perspective you're in right now. Think about a couple of other perspectives that might be really supportive for you in your work. All right, so let's go. I'm going to set us for 45 seconds. Okay. Again, you can come back to these at any time, and I would say follow along page 23 after today's call. Go through the exercise there. I'm only going to drop into one more because I think you're sort of getting the idea of working through the iceberg. And in fact, on page 23, it gets you to think about not only these areas, but how these are showing up in the behaviors you're demonstrating around your business. The last one, we're going to dive right down to the bottom one, which is values. And I'd like you to think about 2 or 3 of your most important business values, right? So for you as a business leader or for the business itself. For example, one of our values here at Potentials Realized is the creation of that small and intimate conversation space. So really connection and collaboration are really key in our work. It shows up in how we do things, how we, have other team members on today's call. This is a really important piece of our business. So what is one? We're going to zoom into one of your values and how is that showing up behaviorally in your business right now? Extend that out further. Not only how is the value showing up as a behavior, but what results are you getting because of it? Okay, so take a minute and we'll work through one of your business values. All right. So what came up? Anyone want to share? I'm happy to share mine. I zoomed into learning, which is another. It's a personal value, always showing up in my work. So it shows up as always learning. What the behaviors are is whether I'm in formal learning or I'm reading or, even like listening to podcasts or reading, like I'm always thinking about like learning in a new field. I should really sort of stress that. It's not just learning about the same thing, but it's about learning about related fields. So my current, I wouldn't call it vendetta, but the current learning scheme is really supervision, right? I want to take this deep dive into this field that actually is quite well established. I'm quite surprised looking at it. It's been around for about a decade. I've heard about it, but I haven't dove into it. But why I'm excited about it is really finding the bridge, right? Part of our rationale or part of our being, our raison d'etre here at Potentials Realized, is to help you as a group or team coach realize your potential. And while we offer great training, we offer great mentor coaching, I see supervision as really this next layer for you as a coach in your development pathway. It's also going to be part of your requirements very soon if you're following the new or will be participating in the new advanced team coaching credential. So with that, you know, my sort of current activities and the behaviors are, let's immerse myself, right? That's how I love to learn, through immersion and as best as I can in a virtual space. And that's going to lead to some new learning, but I have no doubt new bridges that are going to emerge in terms of what's possible, and maybe even a bridge into some of the writing I'm going to be doing in July as well. So for you, please note what those values are and what the bridges are. You know, as you undertake these behaviors, what is it that, what or how will that help? All right, so just going to chat. We've got Rita who commented on habits. One of her habits is coffee on the porch or living room in the morning before the day begins, and lots of creative whiteboarding. Yes, that's great. So enjoy that. That's tool 2. Tool 3 is from page 38. So I jumped into the second section of Coaching Business Builder for this one. Thought it would be useful because, again, it's a bridge back to where we started this process on Monday. I don't want to introduce a lot of like, oh, we could do this or that. I want to keep bridging it back, because in business, there's enough stuff that we have to look at, that, you know, these circular movements on that staircase coming back to what we started with is important. So the exercise that bridges us back is found on page 38. And I entitled it, Be True to Who You Are, Your Microvision. And as I said, it can be useful to create a microvision for your everyday, I don't have my glasses on. It can be useful to create a microvision for what your everyday work looks like. Take a few minutes to reflect on the following questions to think about what you want a typical day, week, or month to look like. Sometimes we're working around the clock or every day when projects are in full stream. So if that's the case, what do you want your work to look like? And I want to give you a few minutes right now just to envision, and maybe you live it already, but what do you want that flow of work to look like? Think of a typical week, a day, or a month. If we're working in resistance to our natural style, will we continue to do it? Will we continue to do it not only for weeks or months, but years? And that's part of Coaching Business Builder. I don't want coaches to just be in a business for 18 months. I want you to be in a business for 18 years, in a business that, you know, when you wake up in the morning, you can go, wow, this is so great that I get to do what I want. And that you have the freedom as well, because I think there's a big element of freedom that we get when we run a business that is successful. It allows us to follow our passions. It allows us to make revenue. It allows us to have impact as well. So I'm going to be silent now for 2 minutes. I'd like you to just think about it like a day in the life, a day in the ideal life as an entrepreneur, as a coaching business. What would you like it to look like? And once you sort of envision that, also highlight some of the words that are showing up there. What's important? Okay, so 2 minutes to just envision what an ideal week, day, month would look like. And if some words are showing up, highlight those. All right. So in our last minute with this exercise, now I want you to either find those words that are coming up consistently or write down 5 or 6 words that are important for you as a business owner. What is the oxygen that you need in order to really love what you do every day? All right. So that is the be true to who you are, the micro vision. And again, this week, we don't want to be introducing 50 new things. We really want you to be focusing in on these core elements like I introduced at the beginning of today's call with that business development cycle. The final piece that I'm going to leave with you to look at, and we're going to be bridging to this tomorrow and the next day, we're going to be looking at your unique ecosystem. This is a big part of section 4. And the whole chapter there is getting you to look at your opportunities, your strengths, what you take a stand for, and of course, those values that anchor us deeply in the ground. This is what really makes you unique as a coach. This is what makes you and your business really unique. So we're not going to tackle this one, but I just want to draw your attention away from just sections 1 and 2 in the book to section 4, which is really about you and your development. And it's this component, you and your development, that we're going to be heavily focusing on in the summer camp. And it's an area that we focus on a lot in the Coaching Biz Growth Lab. So again, we're just giving you a little taster of all the things that we offer. Many of you, I don't think, are sort of aware of Coaching Biz Growth Lab, which runs throughout the year bi-weekly on Fridays. We typically meet from 11:35 to 12:20 Eastern every other Friday. And my hope is that this fall, maybe you'll consider joining us or join us for the summer camp. So that's about it for today's call. I think I've got our today's takeaway. Would love to just hear from you. What was your takeaway? If you're listening to this on demand, let us know in the Facebook thread what today's takeaway is, or you can do it on the Conversation Sparker Zone. Certainly my takeaway was just this notion of bridging, right? We want to make sure that you're seeing the bridges from one to another. What were your takeaways? Let me know. Put it in chat. I like the iceberg as well. We get to talk a lot about the iceberg in depth. Team coaching essentials, because a lot of team coaching coaches will use it. Our daily steps for today, just a reminder of yesterday. We looked yesterday at strengths assessments, and I think this is where you can pull out that strengths assessment work again, and we wanting to look at how those influence your habits, your goals, and your values. So Rita's put down habits, goals, and values for her takeaway for today. Certainly think about what's important to note for you, right? If there's one thing, what's important to note? And I'll just share what Vaughn has also put in: integration of who I am to my vision. It's something I want to revisit, and congruency in my actions, right? And I think when we feel that we're not congruent, that's where, we feel the pull, whether we feel it physically and viscerally, or whether we see it in like the momentum even slowing down in our business. Notice where you're getting called. Notice what you're getting pulled to. A lot of people are like, oh, Jen, you've always followed your passion. But you know what? Passion does allow for energy. It is something that will keep the wheels of business moving. And we need that. We need that in good times, and we need that in times of challenge. So I hope you've enjoyed today's call. If you didn't get to yesterday's field work, make sure you're doing that Coaching Business Builder wheel. Today, I would say do any or all of the exercises that we've looked at during the call. Maybe even dive into section number 4. So tomorrow we continue moving along, and our call for tomorrow and Friday are both going to be at these early phases. So I know we probably won't see Marty. We may not see Kim. We may not also see others that have been with us, but let us know on demand what you've been enjoying. That's it. That's it for our learning today. So thank you, everyone. We'll see you soon. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.